Thank you for calling me in this very important debate, and thank you to the Petitions Committee for facilitating the debate, and my honourable friend, the member for Cambridge, for introducing it. I do apologise for my intermittent coughing, Mr Bourne. I'm afraid I've got Brexit fever. It's affected me in different ways, but I shall persevere and press on regardless. I do want to highlight some of the particular points that apply to my own college, East Durham College, and I thank the excellent principal there, Suzanne Duncan, and all the staff for their hard work and their dedication to the students in my constituency, and for giving me an insight into the funding issues my college faces, and indeed other FE colleges. I agree with many of the points that many honourable members have made, not just on this side of the committee, but all around the committee, about the unfair nature of funding. And I do hope the Minister is going to address these in her response. The funding cuts for East Durham College, like many other colleges, has meant real-term cuts in staff pay, fewer teaching hours for students, and bigger class sizes, and indeed less choice. And while the Department for Education has demanded more from teachers for the same funding, it has resulted in substantial additional workloads. And this is, as well as delivering work experience, maths and English GCSE resits, and the careers strategy obligations. I'm told that adult education funding is being cut by 45%. It's clear further education colleges are an essential part of England's education system, whether it's through top-class technical education, basic skills or lifelong learning. Colleges help people of all ages and backgrounds to make the most of their talents and abilities. My college, based in Peatley, is rooted in the local communities. Previously, it served the mining industry. It's developed and gone on. It's crucial, Minister, in driving social mobility and providing the skills boost to my local and indeed to the regional economies, to regional economy. It's fundamental and indeed an essential requirement in constituencies like mine that the college is properly funded. We've heard about the cuts from 2009 to 2019. College funding's been cut by around 30%. I did listen to the contributions from the Honourable Member for Yeovil and for Boston. I don't know whether they've experienced the same problems, but I mentioned we've got fewer hours of teaching, less support for young people, a drastic reduction in the number of learning opportunities for adults. We know that the value of staff pay has fallen by over 25%, and many members have pointed out that college teachers are earning £7,000 a year less than their colleagues teaching in schools. This situation is simply not sustainable and ultimately impacts on college students, on staff, on businesses, and indeed on the wider community. I also met with the lobby, Love Our Colleges, a coalition of trade unions, students, college leaders, people with a particular interest in the colleges, and I do hope the Minister will study the manifesto that they put forward. I don't want to, because of the shortage of time, go through that, but I do think that as a result of this government's policies of austerity, every part of the public sector is now asking for more money. Many have good cases to make, but the case for funding for post-16 education is quite simply that if we as a nation are going to fill this yawning and ever-widening skills gap, there's only so much that we can do with what little colleges currently receive. It's worth referring to last year's report from the IFS, which confirmed that the FE sector has been the worst hit by austerity more than any other part of the education sector. Spending on FE and adult education has fallen by almost £3.5 billion since 2010. My constituents are amongst many of the signatures. Several hundred from Easington have signed. I think that's an indication of the value we place on the college. I want to thank the students who launched the petition, and I do hope that the Minister can provide them with some comfort that FE providers are going to be properly funded and properly protected. And the Right Honourable Member for Guildford, the Minister, I really don't want her to be remembered as being the minister responsible for kicking away the ladders of opportunity that many in this chamber took for granted when they were students. Education is an investment. I hope that the government will commit to ensuring that every student can receive a high quality and comprehensive education. Thank you.